Houston, welcome to the Fans View, KAZI 88.7. Travis Kent alongside, to my left, Douglas Washington.
Yes.
Douglas, welcome in.
Thanks.
Across the room, it's really not that far. I say across the room. He's like 12 feet away from me. Jamal January, twisting and tweaking the dials.
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Jamal. We appreciate you.
Anytime, I'm happy to be here.
Do not fret. Corey Moses on the way.
Yeah.
A little bit of a late start for him this morning. I came in from Houston and got here on time, but I'm just saying.
I know.
You know, that's some people are dedicated to being on time. He's probably listening right now too. A lot of times when we take these shots, we know that we know that whoever's not here is doing something else, so we can take fun and not listening. Yeah. He's probably on the way listening right now.
Oh, I took some liberties when you were gone. Let's see, I know I did. I might have said, I think you were gone on a loss, and I was like, he's somewhere crying. So I floated some stuff out there, the conspiracies. Maybe he's going off of the time of the clock we have in the studio. Maybe he called ahead and said, hey, what time you guys got there?
Oh, my goodness.
For those when the lights go out, you got to reset your clocks, right? Because if their clock starts again, it's going to be off. Because if it's a delay, if there's a 3-hour delay and then it starts working again, you're off by 3 hours. Well, we just want all you guys to know that's what we're dealing with in the studio.
Our clock to stay on time tells us it is 10:30 p.m. right now.
No, 8:30.
24. No. Oh, it is 8:30. You're right. I'm sorry.
Sir.
I did the conversion. By the way, it's in 24-hour clock time, which is military time, if you will, which is what we call it. And you're right. I did the conversion wrong. Sorry about that. So yes, it is now 8. It just flipped over 8:31 p.m. If you're listening to this live, do not fret. It is 10:02. So,
which means that clock couldn't be right anywhere.
No, it couldn't be right anywhere. Nowhere. Wait a minute. Isn't Newfoundland? Aren't they on a half clock?
Oh, I was going to say Siberia. So, somewhere in the Arctic Circle, maybe they do something different up there.
Of course, you've been to Siberia.
512-836-2887. We'll let you know the number early, guys. You can get in. It's a big week of college football. A lot of rivalry games going on this weekend. And we thought last weekend was kind of going to be a blah weekend. There's only one ranked matchup, and wow, we don't generally spend a ton of time recapping a week because it's a Friday show. We're kind of a lead into the weekend.
Yeah.
But we may have to talk about the dominant performance that A&M put on against Missouri. We probably have to talk a little bit about Vanderbilt and what they were able to do to Alabama.
And we still got to play them boys.
That's right. That's right. So,
if we're just going to stay in the top 25, how about Syracuse knocking off number 25 UNLV? And that's important because you guys remember we talked about how that quarterback left because he didn't get the $100,000 payoff.
Yeah.
So I think we all had an eye on that program, just kind of curious on how it was going to turn out.
Sure.
And they were still in the top 25, but then they lost. Syracuse, a good Syracuse team. They're 4-1.
Yeah, no, Syracuse much improved. They changed coaching staffs at the end of last year. Brought in I was off the Michigan staff, right? If I'm not mistaken, I believe they brought somebody off the Michigan staff.
Fran Brown?
Yeah, Fran Brown replaced Dino Babers, and of course Dino Babers played at Syracuse, and they gave him every opportunity to succeed, and Dino just couldn't quite get it done. They bring in Fran Brown. He's done a really nice job in his first year. He brought a pretty good crop of transfers in with him.
Who is this Cal McCord? The quarterback they had, they let that boy throw the ball 63 times, Corey. 63. K. McCord. Y'all remember the name. Yeah. He must have some talent. They weren't trying to hide him at all.
He's that transfer from Ohio State, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I knew you'd know.
Yeah.
Corey, I didn't know that.
Which I don't know how Ohio State lets him walk out the building, to be honest.
So, think of the last three, and realize I'm actually Yeah, as I'm getting my laptop ready to do the show here, I pull up ESPN, and staring at me is a picture of Ryan Day and Chip Kelly. Right, Chip Kelly left the UCLA job to become the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, but think about the quarterback room and the changes it's gone through at Ohio State over the last 3 years. Remember, Quinn Ewers was in that quarterback room 3 years ago as a young man who skips his senior year of high school, reclassifies, and goes. And they had another 5-star recruit in that class as well. And now they are starting Will Howard at quarterback from Kansas City. And no disrespect to Will Howard.
Yeah, none taken by me.
But
Disrespect.
Oh, okay.
But
He's not good.
No, he is not. This is Ohio State, which famously had a third string quarterback lead them to a national championship within the past decade. How long ago was that? It's been 12 or 14 years now.
I think it's been longer than that.
Has it been longer than that? Cardale Jones. Cardale Jones now is a talking head on I think CBS maybe.
I saw him
he does one of those.
Ago. Yeah. Greatest third string story ever.
Yeah.
I mean, they were humming, and then it just didn't work out in the league. But that adds to the Ohio State quarterback NFL failure list. So
yeah, that's right.
So I'm very confused, fellas. Will Howard, they're ranked number 3, Ohio State.
Yes.
Last game he went 21 to 25, 209 yards, 4 touchdowns. What are you guys gonna take, or Corey? What are you gonna take to be impressed by Will Howard?
By the way, Cardale Jones, that was 2014.
2014, okay.
Okay.
That was a while ago.
Wow.
It's 10 years ago. That's a decade. I said a decade, right? Did I say a decade?
I thought it was more than that. I would have if you would have said it's 12 or 13 or even 14, I would have gone there. So well done, Travis.
Yeah. But what did you say? What's going to impress me? Will Howard?
It's the number 3 team.
I mean, look, bro, we all know that doesn't matter. Just because your team is great doesn't mean you're good.
Yeah.
And I just think, to me, it's another like Carson Beck situation. You know, everyone talked about Carson Beck at the beginning of the year being a Heisman hopeful just because his team is number 1 in the nation.
Right.
Not because he's proved anything. So Will Howard's going to have to go out there and win a game against a high-ranked opponent where his defense doesn't bail him out, where his receivers don't bail him out.
Hey.
He's going to have to make throws that surprise me. Kind of like how low-key, like J.J. McCarthy was on that list for me all year last year until the Alabama game.
Yeah.
Then he made those couple throws on that last drive. And to Roman Wilson on the sideline. That was a crazy pass.
Yeah.
And so for him to do things like that, I need Will Howard to do that for me to get that respect.
Then allow me to jump in, then, gentlemen, and just ask you this then. Their very next game is against Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Will that impress you?
It'll get the ball rolling.
It
It's
will.
on the road.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On the road at Autzen. Not an easy place to play.
Yeah.
And now, once again, I think Corey, has Oregon shown us anything yet?
I didn't want to be
See,
that guy.
okay, so
didn't wanna be that guy, but
we're at the weird part of the
Yeah.
schedule right now, where
Yeah.
we're approaching the halfway point of the season, but there's still probably of the top 25, there's probably 10 or 12 of them that really haven't hit a game yet that can give us a real indication of who they are. They're about to hit that spot this week. We're going to find out more about Ohio State and Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Hey, this could be a sloppy game.
I think it will.
You think it'll be a sloppy
I think it
game?
will be a sloppy game. I think it actually might be a defensive game, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be low scoring.
Yeah.
Because both teams have kind of just been – it's like they've been lollygagging the beginning of their seasons.
Yeah.
And well, almost to the level of talent they've been playing against. Only one team has scored 14 points against Ohio State. Everyone else is 7, 7, 7, 6, 0. They did Western Michigan 56-0. They did that.
Western
Michigan. So okay, well then Oregon then, gentlemen, Oregon may not ever impress you then, because if this doesn't impress you because you don't think Ohio State is impressive, they'll play number 23 Illinois 2 games from now. I don't think that's going to do anything for you. number 24 Michigan. I don't think that's going to impress you guys. And then they finish up Wisconsin, Washington. So they're just going to make the playoff and be one of those teams.
It's not exactly a daunting schedule
No.
as they drop them
Who
into
was
the
that
Big
again?
Ten.
Oregon.
Oregon
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, and just think about the conversation about Oregon 3 weeks ago. Like, people were saying, should they even be in the top 5? Like, because they barely got past somebody early in the
Boise
season.
State.
Boise
It was
State.
Boise
Yeah.
State. It was Boise State.
Barely
Wait a
got
minute,
past
wait a
Boise
minute.
That game was a
State.
great
From a
game,
guy
by
that's
the
been
way.
up around that area, let me tell you something. That's a border war. And them people take that there serious.
Idaho.
I wish those
you
5
talk
stars
about
that Oregon
Red
had.
River rivalry. Who heard of that? Ain't nothing like Idaho versus Oregon. Potato wars.
I'm telling you, man. Like that, the conversation around Oregon a couple weeks ago is like they're not that good. They
Yeah.
got lucky, you know. There's a couple matchups that they should have lost early in the season, and so now they have a chance. Had a couple weeks to get that offense rolling, which I don't know if it has. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what Dylan
No.
Gabriel's been able to do up there.
Is it
in
is it
Oregon.
just a bad run? So they beat Idaho 24-14, and then they play Boise State.
That's it.
Geographical insult to the rest of you. Boise State is in Idaho, people. Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just struggling with Idaho this this season.
Crazy.
It's going to be very. I mean, also, I guess no one's really talking about the Chip Kelly storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of cool. You
Yeah.
know, him going back
Yeah.
to Oregon.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to try to cook up something crazy just to get Oregon's best. But, I mean, I expect Ohio State to win this game. I don't know who y'all have, but I just don't think it's going to be a game where Will Howard shows me anything. I think it's just going to be a game where he does what he needs to do, and they just have more talent.
Yeah, I would think so. This is one of those where, I'm kind of a broken record on this, right? When I'm looking at two teams and I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to get out of it,
Yeah.
I kind of go, okay, which quarterback do I think is the best quarterback?
Oh.
I would tell you,
Give it to Dylan.
I would tell you that the more talented team is Ohio State.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, Dylan Gabriel is a better quarterback than Will Howard.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel will get a shot to play in the NFL.
Okay.
Don't know if he'll make it or not, but he'll get a shot. Will Howard, I don't know if he'll even get, a shot to play in the NFL. So it's very interesting, and home game and the better quarterback. Do you give them? I don't know. It's going to be a tough game to watch. But that's why I asked, could this be a sloppy game? And I was glad Jamal stepped up and said he thinks it will be. He thinks it'll be a defensive type game, and I think that's probably a pretty accurate evaluation.
Yeah, I could just see both his quarterbacks struggling.
I could too.
The game. But then, I would argue Ohio State has the upper hand in there because they can hand the ball off. They can get
True.
it to Quinshawn Judkins.
True.
I
They
thought
can
it
get
was,
They can get to Henderson. Like, they can not put the ball in Will Howard's hands and just
Yeah.
trust the guy you paid billions of dollars to transfer here, and Judkins, give him the ball. So,
the Chip Kelly Bowl. I'm going to go the other way. I expected it to be a shootout. You want to put on for your coach, and then you would have put on for your coach for both teams.
Yeah.
We can't let Chip Kelly do this to us, and then we need our coach, our current coach,
Yeah.
Chip Kelly, to feel like he's not settling. So,
All right, so we've got a caller on the line, so we're going to jump into the phones. Hey, caller, you there? Hello, caller. Caller, come in.
maybe they are not a Chip Kelly fan.
1, 2, check.
Mic check. I guess they hung up.
All right,
tragic.
we'll give it another shot. Maybe if they want to call back in, let's go. Yeah, let's go ahead and clear the line. And if somebody calls right back in,
It's the Will Howard fan club.
they're still there.
They want to know where we're at, and they want words with us.
You don't see no fans over here. I'm sorry. I just seen a kid in person. Like, I just seen him with my own eyes when they played Texas here in Austin. Like,
Yeah.
he's not good. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, until he proves me differently, then I'm going to have that sentiment about him. You know?
And I thought that's why Travis was a little more on Dylan Gabriel, because I thought you were going to say those wheels He ran for over 100 yards against Texas. And,
Right.
And that's another thing that might get him to the league when we're looking at a more mobile quarterback.
Well, he's not mobile.
He's not. Yeah, but
Yeah.
he can do enough, right?
He's like Brock Purdy. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
he'll get out the pocket when he needs to.
That's a good one. Yeah.
But you know the thing about Dillon Gabriel, I mean, obviously he's not at Oklahoma anymore because he just had these uneven up and down efforts. You just didn't know what you got from him week 1 to week 2,
Yeah.
because there were many. You can go back and you can find a full game tape of Dillon Gabriel and give it to an NFL scout and go, yes, this kid's an NFL quarterback. And then you can find another full game tape and give it to an NFL scout and go, we wouldn't even bring him in for a look.
Yeah.
That's the type of uneven effort that he was giving at OU. And so it is, you know, and he's at the point now to where he needs to put together more even efforts on a week-in, week-out basis.
I can't hold it anymore, guys. And I'm glad I didn't know we were going to get to do this. We got to talk about the upset. How does number 1 Alabama go down to Vanderbilt? Can somebody explain that to me? Because I thought we were all high on Jalen Milroe.
So listen to this story, right? Vanderbilt obviously is in a situation where they are always fighting from behind in their conference, right? Except for they had Jay Cutler drop in their laps, and they became all of a sudden a decent football team during his era there, and then whoop, right back up. Was that when James Franklin was there? Was James Franklin coach Jay Cutler? So you had
Jay Cutler. I don't know.
Oh, you know, I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
But the James Franklin, in his era, they were respectable, which got him the Penn State job, and then of course the Jay Cutler era. But last year they went out and got Tim Beck, who from he wasn't on Tom Herman's staff anymore. He was out at New Mexico State, and so you think, okay, Vanderbilt brings in New Mexico State assistant offensive coordinator, who then promptly brings 2 of his quarterbacks with him, one who had switched to tight end, out to run his offense. And clearly it worked for him last week, right? Pavia is not going to fool anybody into thinking he's a NFL-type quarterback. But one of these gritty college kids who is not afraid to tuck it and run. He's not afraid to take a hit. And he makes just enough good throws and throws on the run, especially that can break your back on a big third down play, and that's what they did last week. I was impressed. Hasn't been because the Pavia storyline has dominated sort of the week, but the offensive and defensive lines of Vanderbilt was the real story of this game. Yeah. They went toe-to-toe with Alabama and beat them on both sides of the ball. It was a close game at the end, and it deserved to be a close game at the end because Jalen Milroe did a really good job of bringing Alabama back and giving them a shot. But when they needed a first down, that Vanderbilt defense stood up and stopped Alabama. Yeah. Alabama thought they could tuck it in and pick up first downs and grind out the clock. And then when Vanderbilt got it back with 3.5 minutes left, you've got to make a stop.
You do.
And Vanderbilt didn't go to trick plays. They handed the ball off, and they ran for first downs. That was a very impressive effort by Vandy.
What does the coach say? Out physical the other team?
That's right.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I know they've been the laughingstock. Bobby Johnson is who I show. 2005, his senior year.
That makes sense.
They're an SEC school, so they're going to get SEC talent. You said it yourself about tape on Dillon Gabriel. Mm-hmm. You're guaranteed to be playing against SEC schools.
Yeah.
I would take a scholarship to go play at Vanderbilt rather than go play at Corey Mose University down in Plainsville, Wisconsin. Because at least I'm going to get tape against some of the best athletes in the nation. That's the way I think of it.
Yeah.
But so they're getting talent, and I guess maybe Alabama forgot that.
But Corey Mose University, man, you can't. Their uniforms are sharp.
Yeah,
they always
but
look
their
good.
mascot. The fighting burros.
Good education. You get good education.
The fighting jackasses.
You get good education.
Depending on where you're from.
Just to clarify
yeah.
the James Franklin thing, no, he was not with Jay Cutler.
Okay,
Jay
that's,
Cutler was 05.
that seemed a little long ago.
James
That's
Franklin.
when I said it, I was like, James Franklin wasn't there 20 years, so there's no way that could have
I
happened.
will
so.
say, last year, James Franklin was in Vanderbilt, 5-game winning streak to end the season.
Yeah.
Beat U of H in the Compass Bowl.
Oh.
They beat teams Florida, UK, Tennessee, Wake Forest, and Houston.
All right, let's try the phones again. Hey, caller, you there? Caller.
Yes.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Hey, great show as always. I don't know if you had alluded to the fact that one of their best players or dominant players right now at Vanderbilt is the Alexander kid from Austin. He's been having some tremendous games. Matter of fact, I know his one of his aunts, and she gave me a picture of him leaping over like 2 tacklers.
That's awesome.
So he's been having a tremendous year. But the biggest thing about it last weekend was upset weekend. But at the same time, I don't know if you've talked about the Jets situation and how ironically the quarterback meets with the owner the day before the coach gets fired, but he said, well, gee, I have great respect for him. I don't know what happened, but it was kind of like laugh out loud. You don't know what's going on. And at the same time, ultimately it comes down, and you guys know this because you have a tremendous show, football comes down to running, blocking, and tackling. And whoever does that on any given day the best, 9 times out of 10, they're going to win the game. And you guys have a great day and a great show. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your call. We appreciate you listening. And we are going to talk definitely about the Jets situation. We'll talk about the Devontae Adams situation. And we'll talk a little bit about who you believe in that Jets situation of what happened the day after. And we might go back and talk about McCarthy's last year at Green Bay and how pedestrian Aaron Rodgers looked before McCarthy got fired, and then how much better he played after McCarthy got fired. Maybe there's a correlation. I don't know.
Saboteur?
I'm just saying.
Saboteur?
Hey, I just look at the stats. That's all I do.
I like that angle. I'm glad you went that way. I know we're gonna dig into it. I hadn't thought about that, but I do have something that I want to ask you guys when we get into it, and I just need to know the first thing that pops in your head when it comes. Can I just ask one last thing? Can anyone here name one other impressive person that played football at Vanderbilt besides Jay Cutler?
Vanderbilt football.
I know.
I'm sure there's some.
Gosh, I can't.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'm struggling.
Okay, good, because I thought it was just me, but I don't want to put y'all in my bucket. That the only thing I could really think of was Jordan Matthews, played at Philly, if you remember. But again, so Jay Cutler, man, just go ahead and put the statue out. Since we brought him up, just go ahead and put he needs a statue. Seriously,
At Vanderbilt.
We're talking 2 generations here, so he's a 2-generation talent. I just wanted to see if I could start the Jay Cutler Get a Statue committee.
So really good call on Jordan Matthews. You're right. I didn't even think about that. And now as I look at this list, there's some really solid players. Shelton Quarles. Remember Shelton Quarles, pass rusher for Tampa Bay?
Yes.
Corey Chavis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, one on
Was he Tennessee?
Yes. Will Wolford, offensive lineman. Like I said, solid players. There's look, hey, a program that's at the bottom of the conference every year is not going to turn out any NFL Hall of Famers, right?
But you get to you may have on your resume 2-time All SEC, and that might get you to the league by itself.
Yeah.
So again, go there. Don't go be a fighting burro.
Fighting Burrow.
Burro.
Joe Shiesty.
I think the biggest name on this list is Tom Moore. Of course, Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator for Peyton Manning at the Indianapolis Colts. So that's about the biggest name on this list.
You said, of course, like we just.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Hey,
I had no
that
idea who
happened
Tom
to
Moore
me.
was.
That happened to me the other day. Did Brian Billick play in the NFL?
Uh-oh. We're going to get to a break. We'll be back with UKAZI 88.7. Travis Kent alongside Douglas Washington. KVU 24's Corey Mose. And, of course, Jamal January twisting and tweaking the dials. Real quick, Brian Billick. So he played tight end, I believe, in college.
Okay.
And spent one season in 2 training camps with the 49ers and the Cowboys.
You know what? That counts.
Didn't make it out of training camp.
Nah,
though.
that counts.
So
They invited you. You got the invite.
So then he then immediately went to the University of Redlands in Redlands, California, where, by the way, he went to high school and was a volunteer wide receivers coach. Then he played at BYU.
Okay.
And then went to BYU as a graduate assistant, which began his coaching career.
Okay.
So a little Brian Billick trivia for everybody. I don't know.
Man, I know it might be boring to everyone else, but that was fun that we did off air. I for those who don't know, I was looking up the Vanderbilt recruiting class, and just to see who was going there, and I was just lobbing names of schools from Texas, and these guys knew it. I'm not from Texas. Those who don't know, I am not from Texas, and it impressed me because it's such a large state. And the Steel, they actually went and got another guy. They went and got a cornerback, too, from that same school last year in their class. And then one last guy, they went and got a teammate of Ryan Williams from Saraland, Alabama. Mm-hmm. They went and got an outside linebacker. So that's a good thing about having a great player, right?
Yeah, that's right.
If they're going to come scout this. They may want to. They may see a couple other guys.
Gives you opportunities. Of course, Steele is Cibolo Steele is a younger high school that really came on fast. I don't know much about the population of that area where they put that school, but I can tell you Malcolm Brown, the former running back for UT, came out of Cibolo Steele. He came out that same year. Oh gosh, I'd have to go back and look. There were 2 running backs that both like they were 1 and 2 in the state for like 2 years in a row. God, I'm gonna have to go back and pull that out. But so it's a really good high school down there.
Okay.
So, hey, we got a call on the line. Hey, caller. Hey, Mr. Oklahoma, you there?
Yes, sir.
How did you
How
know
you
that?
doing?
How did you know that?
Welcome to Texas OU Week.
Yeah, hey, I want to say this before I start talking.
Okay.
Hey, Douglas, I got to give you a lot of props, man, because I'm gonna call you all world, because you've been everywhere, man, everywhere. I'll say, God, dog it, man.
Yeah, insert the Johnny Cash song because I've been everywhere, man. and it's been fun. I have enjoyed seeing America. Mm-hmm. I have road tripped across America a couple times. Lived up in the Northeast. When Milton hit, I had a lot of places that I lived, and when they're talking about all these places, I'm like, oh man, I've been there. I've seen that. I got a friend there, so it's been cool. It's been great to see America. Now, I've never gone to Hawaii, and I even lived in Los Angeles. And most people in Los Angeles, that's where they go to vacation.
Yeah.
I never went.
That's a little surprising to me.
I know. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, really.
And one last thing,
Really?
Mr. Oklahoma, my very first duty station in the Army that they were going to send me was Hawaii. I asked for it, and I got it, and still didn't go. And you'll never hear that ever again. I did go to Germany for the 4 years, though, and it was amazing.
Yeah, you might consider, man, trying to get to the moon. You've been to the moon. You've been everywhere.
Hey, the light side or the dark side? Which side do I go?
Hey, I don't know, man. It's your choice, But what I want to say, man, I think like last week they had a lot of some damn good games, man.
Yeah.
They had some real good games. That's gonna be every week.
Oh, you promise?
They had some good upsets. They had a lot of good upsets, and I enjoy that. They have games on Wednesdays, on college games, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays.
Beginning.
So y'all, hey, Travis, did you ever change your TV?
I did. I did change. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I still got mine. You know, long as it's back on the air, I'm gonna keep it. You know, because if I would have changed it, you know, my monthly bill would have went up. So I left it as it is. So
yeah, so I went with I did go with a streaming service, and so mine, with all the stuff that I had added on to mine, I'm going to be paying a lot less. At least this is not a commercial anymore. Because when I called to cancel, I didn't even realize I'd been with DirecTV since 1997.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about the 90s
That's
one day, Young Buck, if
crazy.
you want to know what the 90s was like. I'll tell you.
I'm a 90s baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you want out
Like
there.
I remember my first DirecTV dish. I installed it on my house.
Hey, yeah, you got it.
On
You
your
got
roof?
you get the compass,
Uh-huh.
and you got to know where it is. Yeah, that was good. And then it's the bar strength
And then
tells you.
And then there would be a big windstorm,
Yeah.
and I would have to climb up on the house because all of a sudden we would lose signal because I didn't have it bolted down tight enough or something. I had to go up and readjust
Yep.
it, and oh my
Yep.
gosh,
Yep.
whoo!
yeah. Travis, I'm surprised you're not going to the game tomorrow.
I'm going to the game tomorrow.
Who said he
okay.
wasn't?
35 straight
Yeah.
years,
I know, right?
Mr. Oklahoma.
Where'd you get that info?
This will be my 35th
Yeah.
straight Texas OU game,
Yeah.
and I'll be
Well,
there.
you know, y'all
I'll be
picked-
sitting next to my
y'all
dad, who's gone
Yeah,
through
y'all picked
57
to
straight.
beat us by y'all picked to beat us by 14 points. So only thing I can hope, man, is for an upset.
I don't, you know.
Because I called Vanderbilt and I say, hey man, what can we do to win our game? You know, and they told me so.
Hey, this,
Oh,
Oh,
This-
that's how they won.
now he's connected, Corey. You just been upstaged by Mr.
No, man,
Oklahoma.
that's a kid.
you know this series between Texas and Oklahoma, and I hope that the rest of the SEC fans who may not have paid much attention to this over the years pay attention to it. It's a special series. Obviously, the last time a team was ranked number one in this series against an unranked opponent was number one Oklahoma lost to Charlie Strong in his Texas Longhorn group. That's what happens in this series. So Texas leads 63, 51, and 5 overall. But Oklahoma has won 17 of the last 25 matchups. So if you're just taking into account maybe this century, right? Over the entire history of this series, Texas has scored 2,268 points. Oklahoma scored 2,206 points. I mean, that's how close overall, over 100 years of football, overall these teams are. They've been great programs, Heisman Trophy winners. So as a Texas fan, I have confidence that my team is better and is going to go win, but I'm going to be white knuckling it the whole game. That's for sure. You never feel comfortable in this game.
Mr. Oklahoma, I want to support you, bro. I really do. But then you lost to Tennessee 25-15, and then they lost this weekend to Arkansas 14-19. So your loss, and that's an unranked Arkansas team. So your loss doesn't look that strong. Can you convince me on why I should come over on your bandwagon? I don't want just hope. Give me something. Like what do you think you have that's the Achilles heel? Well, give me something.
Yeah, but man, I mean, I can't give you anything, man, because our offense is not that good.
Yeah.
You know, we have to go with that freshman Hawkins.
Uh-huh.
He did good last week, but I'm just not really confident in our offense. Our defense is a lot better. So it'll be your choice if you want to come over to Oklahoma. If you don't, you know, it is what it is, you know.
So,
But you know, I'm still hanging out with them because only thing I can hope for really, because y'all picked to beat us by 14 points or more. But some kind of upset. If we win by 1 point or 2 points, I would be happy. I would be satisfied.
Okay, then you know what? I'm sold. Because I like that you couldn't be swayed. You looked Travis and his number one team face to face. You looked up at him. This is a David and Goliath, and you don't seem afraid. So here's what I'm going to tell Travis on behalf of you. They put up 17 points in the fourth quarter against Auburn in their last game, and they're going to carry over that momentum and start kicking some Bevo Booty in this game. How's that? How's that?
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't even tell
it
him.
is what it is, man. You know.
No, you were
It is
supposed
what
to
it
come
is,
along
you know.
with me.
Yeah. Yeah, but Douglas, you be asking me some outrageous questions. I'm trying to answer to figure out what you're talking about, but I'm doing the best that I can.
You're giving her all she's got, Captain. No, I'm gonna go for the upset, and I'm sorry, Travis, Corey, those in the room.
What?
No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna this. No, this is out of friendship to Mr. Oklahoma.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think
'Cause I
they're
need
gonna
some
carry
friends.
over. Yeah, they're gonna carry over this momentum from that fourth quarter of an SEC team. Forget their record. They got SEC talent, and they're just gonna carry that right into this game.
Right.
And so they're gonna score in that first quarter just to get it going. I won't say the first drive, but they'll score in that first quarter, and then them Sooners, they gonna circle the wagons. Go Sooners. That's all I got. I'm losing confidence, Mr. Oklahoma.
Oh, tomato.
Hey, I wanna know, is y'all quarterback healthy?
Oh, Travis?
Well, so I believe he's probably pretty healthy, and I think and he's going to be starting this week. So it's from that standpoint, I think Quinn Ewers will be just fine. I just hope he comes in and plays as well as Connor Wegman did last week for Texas A&M after coming back from his injury.
Okay. Okay.
If he can put on that kind of – Connor Wegman looked really good last
really
week. We're going to have to talk about that A&M game. But I want to point this out, Mr. Oklahoma, and this is just – sometimes this is just the unfortunate fact of this game, right? I mean Texas has gone into, and Oklahoma's done this before too, where they come in with an injured quarterback, come in with injured players. 5 wide receivers out of this game for Oklahoma on the injury report. And the winner of this game, has only scored under 30 points to win 2 times in the last 10 meetings. So this series recently has said you need to be able to score points to win this game. And can Oklahoma do it with a freshman quarterback? By the way, they've never started a freshman quarterback in this series. Texas only started 2 freshman quarterbacks. This is their first time they've started a freshman quarterback in this series. Can they do it with a freshman quarterback who's got a depleted wide receiver core, who is mobile enough to run? And we saw what Dylan Gabriel was able to do last year. That's the big question we got to look for this week for Oklahoma. It's as a Texas fan, I'm glad to see them depleted, right? As a college football fan, you want to see this be a good game, and I hope it's a good game.
Hey,
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you, man. I like Hawkins.
Okay.
Because he's better than a starting quarterback. The starting quarterback for Oklahoma, he's not mobile enough.
Yeah.
And when Hawkins got in there, man, he started running the ball. He started throwing the ball good. I just hope he don't get hurt. But he looked good to me. I'm gonna tell you, our defense when we played Auburn, our defense in that fourth quarter, we was on that quarterback. We was on that quarterback.
Before people dial out, I want to make sure I want to give a little back into my homie, Mr. Oklahoma. This last game against Auburn, Michael Hawkins broke off a 48-yard run, so it's there.
Yeah.
The big playability is there, Dylan Gabriel-esque, and he ran 14 times and once for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So it's in their game plan for him to use those legs. So you that running game, put that with Javonte Barnes. They gave him the rock 18 times last game. And we may have a good game.
Because I'm gonna tell you, our defense is I haven't seen our defense play that good in a long time.
Yeah, you're right.
And they look real good.
This is what you've been waiting up for, Mr. Oklahoma, the last 3 years, right? Is you hire Venables. By gosh, you better get the defense straightened out. And it appears he's making strides towards getting this defense to where he would like it to be. Maybe looking like some of those Clemson defenses that he had at Clemson, some of the OU defenses he had when he was a defensive coordinator for Oklahoma. It appears like he's getting momentum towards doing that, but clearly they still have a lot of work to do on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, a lot of work. And I think maybe in a year or so we'll probably get there on the offense. I hope. It all depends on recruiting.
Yes.
You know, so.
Right.
But I wanna switch.
Yeah.
I wanna talk about the Cowboys a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. Man, I'm gonna tell you, Dallas. I think they are looking a lot better, and I think they could beat Detroit, man. I think they could beat Detroit.
Man, you sure you go from half full to full pretty quick.
Yeah.
Hey, Corey was making a face, Mr. Oklahoma. He ain't buying none of that.
It's 1 week.
Yeah.
It's been 1 week.
I'm gonna
Even
let
though I
you.
did call it last
I'm gonna let you objective guys take over for a while.
I mean, I just can't. I mean, even though I did call the Cowboys going to win against Steelers,
Yeah,
I
you
did
did.
say that. It just felt like the type of game on prime time, all odds against them. No Parsons, no D-Law. Just felt like a Cowboys game for them to win, to prove everybody wrong, and then they're going to follow that up with a horrible performance. I just feel like that's going to happen on Sunday. Like it's going to be Lions are going to bully the crap out of the Cowboys. They're coming off a bye, by the way. Detroit is, so that's never helpful. And you know, I read this stat with the Lions. Every team that they went against, the next game, that team didn't even cover the spread for their next matchup because they're so depleted after facing the Lions. Their bodies, and they have a lot of injuries because the Lions just beat up on people.
They bite you in the kneecaps?
Yeah, they bite you in the kneecaps. And I think the Cowboys are coming off a grueling, you know, demanding win against Pittsburgh. The last team they want to see right now is the Lions, you know, because they're just tough. And especially now, because of last year's game,
the
way it
officiating, exactly. That's
now they have motivation. Lions have motivation to beat the crap out of Dallas. So like, I just don't see how Dallas has any hope this week. Not gonna lie to you. No offense. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, I'm not gonna turn my back against the Cowboys. I think they can do it, man. They just got to get tougher. You know. Hey, before I get out the air, Corey, do you know that score for North Shore last night? Did you see that?
No, I was off last night. I was not paying attention to high school football.
Okay, I paid attention. I was watching high school last night. I was watching that. The score last night was 70-0. Woo! They played Galena somebody, but it was
Galena
70-0.
Galena's got another school now.
Yeah, they've
They
grown.
play Goose Creek Memorial.
Oh, Goose Creek.
Goose
Okay.
Creek.
Yeah.
Goose Creek.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But hey, gentlemen, I'm gonna be up all night watching football tonight. All tomorrow night, Sunday night, I'm gonna be up, baby.
All right. We appreciate the
I'll
call as
talk to y'all
always.
later.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
Thanks.
Oklahoma.
All right, bye-bye.
512-836-2887.
Wait a
You can
minute.
get your calls in as well.
You knew who Goose Creek Memorial was?
Oh yeah.
You guys, man. What? Okay, where is that?
You don't know?
What?
All that traveling you've done?
Goose Creek Memorial. I would like to forget that. It doesn't sound like a place where they be at.
I know Shadow Creek. I know Goose Creek.
Oh man. Ugh. I mean, you got beat 70-0. I don't think anybody wants to know where you at.
Yeah, Shadow Creek, Summer Creek. There's a lot of new schools in that part of the Houston area.
Baytown, Texas is where Goose Creek is.
Yeah. So,
There's a Buc-ee's in Baytown.
yeah, that's right. There is.
There's Buc-ee's everywhere.
That is. I will tell you. I can also attest to you that from my front door, that Buc-ee's is within 1 mile of the halfway point to Baton Rouge.
Really?
When I go visit my daughter, I fill up with I stop. I don't always stop at the Buc-ee's because there's actually a Tex Best right across the street that's less crowded. Yeah. It's a smaller place, but it's an Exxon. There's once again no advertisements here, no payola. But I go ahead and stop and get gas, get another Dr. Pepper, and get back on the road and head to Baton Rouge to go see my daughter.
Getting it.
I had to tell one of my friends that I work with. He moved from Detroit. He didn't realize there were like regular Buc-ee's. Like,
oh really?
Just regular gas station.
Like
Buc-ee's.
in Giddings?
Yeah.
Like the one.
Not even like I had a Buc-ee's in Pearland that was legit like a Quick Trip.
Oh really?
Yeah, like
okay.
legit. Like it's just a straight gas station, and he just couldn't fathom.
Yeah.
of Buc-ee's being just a gas station and not like the super mega.
Yeah. The smallest one that I've ever been into is that one in Giddings.
Oh, really?
And it's been there quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
it's
smaller ones.
I see. I haven't seen a smaller one than that. That's
Yeah, so
okay.
I grew up around the small.
Okay,
ones.
all right,
So that
yeah.
was normal to me.
Okay.
But then I started to get around the state, and I'm realizing, people don't really know about
No,
just regular Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
They only know about the big ones. But the big ones are great though, man.
Yeah,
Get some good kolaches.
Yeah.
The
But
brisket sandwiches.
please, after you get your gas, there's plenty of parking spots.
You done
move your car out of the way.
Exactly.
Go park in a parking spot, then you can go in and shop.
Yeah.
And by goodness, do not pull into a pump. Go out and shop first, then come back and pump your gas.
Facts. I mean, there's
I'm pretty sure that you're a serial killer if that's what you do.
There's a
Wow.
few there's a few man laws.
We escalated.
You
pretty
don't
quickly.
park, go use the bathroom, then shop,
Right.
then come back out. I mean, you're doing something wrong. Hey, Goose Creek is 0-6. So 7-8 is why is he so impressed?
I don't.
You're supposed to beat
Look,
that team.
I was gonna let him
70 to
have it.
zip.
I was gonna let him have it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I just got
People,
curious.
people get beat 70 to zip all the time in high school football.
Eesh.
If it's Westlake does it all the time.
Especially against North Shore. I mean, you could be a good program. Goose Creek's a newer program, but you can be a good program, and North Shore can beat you 70-0.
That's facts.
They beat South Oak Cliff 38 to zip.
That's a good
See,
program.
that's a good program.
They beat
Yeah.
Humble 42 to zip.
Humble.
South Oak Cliff is what, 3 years removed from the state title,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
3? I
No.
would say like a year.
Or they didn't win it last year.
I think so. I
That's
think
what
it
I'm
was.
saying, a year removed.
Yeah, no. I think you're right. I think it was
Malik
yeah,
Muhammad
Malik
was.
Muhammad was on that team. Yeah.
Ah,
Yep.
man, you guys, I'm impressed because this is a big state. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
That was the first DISD program to win a state title in how many years?
And they went back to back, I believe.
Did they?
I think Malik's last
That
season.
sounds right.
Yeah, Malik's last season, they won the year before that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
Yeah. Little history buff.
Yeah, I see.
Sorry, we just.
No,
But yeah.
Hey man, you get us talking about high school football. We'll just keep
I know,
going.
right?
if they're gonna listen to this station and they're in Texas, if they're local, they okay with it.
I
And we
keep
talking
looking at
Texas. I got to do one more Vanderbilt before we move on though.
Here
I
he
just
goes,
gotta
man.
go one more Vanderbilt to you guys.
Yeah.
So there's a place here in Texas called Aldine High School.
Yeah.
Where is that at?
Aldine.
Yeah.
It's down in the Houston area.
Yeah, good job, man. They took an offensive guard, Stephen Hubbard, 6'3", 330, Vanderbilt. So they're just coming to Texas and just taking boys.
Aldine's another one of those that they. I don't know how many high schools they have in their district now. Probably 3. Aldine Addicts, Aldine Hightower. Oh. I guess Aldine High, would be the, but they'll pop in. They'll make one of those schools will make a run, and try to get out of that Houston region. Usually they run into North Shore or somebody like that. They have trouble getting out of that region, but Aldine will pop up every once in a while.
Okay. I
do want to give a shout out though to Cedric Alexander. Like the caller brought him up, but I feel like we do need to touch on like the fact that
Yeah.
LBJ kids leading
Yes, sir.
Vanderbilt in rushing touchdowns, and he had this one touchdown run against Bama. I don't know if y'all seen it, but he gets stopped at the 5-yard line. Like the linebackers meeting him at the gap in the 5-yard line. Now, mind you, Ced's like maybe 5'8", maybe 5'9". I don't think he's 5'9". Makes contact, just pushes a kid to the end zone. Like
Yeah.
that's what you don't see against an Alabama team,
Right.
and that's kind of what like made me think like, oh, this team is a little bit less tough than what we're typically used to with Bama squads, especially defensively.
Yeah.
If you're just letting dudes, like you mentioned, Travis, run all over you, especially when games on the line, you expect Bama to step up. But Ced did his thing against Bama, so shout out to the LB. They got another kid too, bro, Caleb Crenshaw, at LBJ right now. He's getting a couple Power 4 offers. Cousins with Cedric Alexander.
Okay.
And so LBJ has another kid coming out that's going to be at a Power 4 school pretty soon. So
again, maybe that's another reason that these kids go to Vanderbilt, especially now Texas is in the SEC. You get a chance to come back home. If I know I can come back and play and thumb my nose, do you guys think that it means something to that family to say at least you can be at a big time school? Vanderbilt is a D1 school.
Yeah.
You're in the SEC. Is that enough for y'all, or would you want to go be a superstar on a different team?
I don't.
Depends on what
I
your
think
mix-
Power Four matters. I don't
Yeah.
think SEC matters per se to like kids here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the aura of SEC really does give out the same unless you go to a Texas, unless you go to a Georgia or Alabama.
Yeah.
Just saying go to the SEC, I don't think kids really care about playing the SEC. I think they would go to a U of H and be totally fine.
It
to play
depends
the
on
Big 12.
it depends on your mix of offers, right? Because if your offers are Louisville, Vandy, and like Idaho Vandals or somebody like
Yeah.
that, and you got to decide, okay, where am I going to have the most fun playing? Am I going to play? Am I really going to play, or am I just going to a program, going to get my education, get my degree? Vanderbilt's going to be high on that list because we talk about all these kids, and these kids come out and they get a lot of smoke blown at them and say, hey, well, you're going to be the greatest thing ever. You're going to start. A lot of kids are really grounded, and they look around and they realize I was really good in high school, but I also realized that I only run a 4.5, or I'm only this, and if I I may not be the one to be special. I do need to think about where I go to school and the degree I get. And to Vanderbilt's, I will tell you, and I don't know where it started, and maybe it's just a national thing that everybody tries to do this, but Vanderbilt's done a good job of recruiting Texas. I mean, you look through their roster.
Yeah.
Drew Dickey out of Regent School here in Austin is on their roster. They've got a kid out of Midland Lee that played for Texas Tech. You've got
Loic Fungi.
Yeah.
So I covered that kid.
Did you really?
So they actually have two kids from West Texas that I covered. So you have Loic Fungi. He's a wide receiver. Yeah, went to Tech first, then transferred over. And he transferred with his teammate in high school from Midland Lee as well. I don't know if he's on the roster, 'cause I looked at this the other day, but he's a running back, McKylan Young. So he came over from New Mexico State
Okay.
with the coach.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so the coach brought him over, McKylan, for running. I think he's hurt right now. But,
Okay.
yeah, it was crazy seeing, like I said, two kids that I covered in high school at Midland Lee, one at Tech, one at New Mexico State, both transferring to Vanderbilt. So, yeah, they recruit pretty well.
I mean, I'm just looking. As I roll through their roster, Round Rock. They've got a running back out of Round Rock. A safety out of Round Rock that plays for them. They've got a kid, Dante Carter, a safety out of Steele High School, Cibolo Steele. South Grand Prairie. Let's see here. There's another player from Steele, a cornerback. LBJ, obviously Cedric Alexander. Then you've got Baytown Lee, a corner out of Baytown Lee. You've got a kid out of St. Thomas there in Katy. Who plays? I mean, Ugwuchukwu, the star linebacker, he plays that star position for them. Is a starter. He was making a ton of tackles against Alabama. He was out of was he out of Katy? Where's Ugwuchukwu? Number 12. He was number 12. George Ranch.
Oh, okay.
Out of George Ranch High School. So.
Hey, before we go to break,
Yes.
let me tell you the offers that Cedric had, because y'all had me intrigued. So UTSA offered him,
Stay at home.
Iowa State offered him,
Big 12.
Prairie View A&M, Texas
HBCU.
State, Air
Stay
Force,
at home.
Navy Midshipman, Campbell, and Texas Southern.
Yeah, so I mean,
they all offered
so
him.
you got HBCUs. You have a couple schools where you could stay in your own backyard. I mean, Texas State. I mean, that's a school that's on the up and coming. He probably. Well, they got Ishmael Mahdi over there, so he would have waited probably at least a year, 2 years. Now he had to wait a year at Vanderbilt, but they probably said, "Look, just wait a year, you'll play." So the only offer is Iowa State, and like, would you rather be in Ames, Iowa, or Nashville, Tennessee? You know,
Good point.
Yeah.
Great point right
Nash
there.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Armed Forces schools. He would have gotten a bunch of touches.
Yeah.
Yes, he would have.
All right, we got to get to break. We'll be back on the other side right here on the Fans View. KAZI 88.7. Travis Kent alongside Douglas Washington across from Jamal January sitting next to KVU 24's Corey Mose.
Sure.
A lot of we didn't even talk. So a lot of times we talk during the break about which way we going next. We don't. Hey, look, this is not our full-time job. We don't have a run sheet in front of us like we should have. I mean, that's my bad. I was out of town. Here's the miles I put on my Forerunner this week. So Monday and Tuesday I was in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Took my daughter for a campus visit to Oklahoma State. Had lunch with a cousin.
Hey.
Always nice to catch up with family.
Yeah.
Then yesterday headed to Houston for a clay shoot. My one of the young ladies that works for me was the top female shooter, so she won a little prize. So headed back this morning. So I'm of course tomorrow morning.
Oh yeah.
Bright and early, I'll be
Hit the
headed
road.
up to Dallas.
Yep.
Be at Fair Park in time to get my corny dog about 9:30 a.m. or so. So yeah. But so I put some miles on it, so I don't have a run sheet. But we talk during the break about where we're going next. We didn't talk about it. Where we're going next?
we didn't finish all the top 25 upsets.
Okay.
I mean, how much time we got?
You ready to get to this week, aren't
Yeah.
you?
Okay.
Let's get to
All
this
right.
week.
All right.
We spent the first hour recapping. Let's get to this week. Let's start with college football, and then we'll move to the NFL.
Absolutely.
Let's do it that way. Obviously, for us, the big game in college football this week is Texas versus Oklahoma. We've talked a little bit about the injuries on the Oklahoma side of the ball. Quinn Ewers should be back. I've got a little question in the back of my mind. If OU struggles with the quarterback position, Casey Thompson get a look? Just for old time's sake, right?
Well, Brennan's gonna play, so
Yeah,
you'll see Brennan.
yeah, that's true.
Former Longhorn as well. But yeah, I mean, why not, right? I just don't see I don't see how Hawkins is going to be effective against Texas.
I agree.
Right.
If you just put a spy with Anthony Hill and you make these 6-string, 7-string, 8-string receivers
Yeah.
get open against this top-tier secondary, that's not a recipe for success for OU. But that's the only way they can throw the football. So,
Yeah.
I just don't understand how they're going to be able to move the ball without trick plays.
I don't either. What I think, and I remember after Oklahoma beat Texas last year, that last stretch of 6 games or so, and once again they kind of went back to uneven efforts and Dylan Gabriel playing well some weeks and not playing well. The only guy that really impressed me on that Oklahoma offense at the end of that season was Gavin Sawchuk, the running back.
Mm-hmm.
Kid runs hard. Kid runs really hard. He's 5'11", 197. He's technically the co-starter with Javante Barnes. But I would expect Oklahoma to do their best early on to see if they can't grind out a few first downs with the running game, and not put pressure on that quarterback. And if they can find a way to do that, I don't think it's going to look like 2 years ago where they were essentially running a single wing offense because they didn't have a live body who could throw the ball 10 yards down the field. But I would still expect this to Oklahoma to attempt early on the first quarter, just commit to it, run the football. If nothing else, take 3 minutes off the clock and punt, but just run the football and give it a chance.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way you can win this game. I feel like if you're Oklahoma, you gotta control time of possession. You gotta limit the opportunities that Texas has on offense, and you gotta make sure that clock keeps ticking. And the only way to do that is by running the football. And we've seen a couple games where Texas has been a little bit gassed on the defense when it comes to the run game, maybe a little bit against Mississippi State. I would say ULM was okay. They were fine against them, but they let a big play happen. Was that against ULM? Correct.
They did.
Long
That's right. The long touchdown run. Yeah.
That was against a missed blown assignment.
Yep.
And so we've seen a little bit. Now, majority of these games, going back to even against Michigan, they shut down Michigan's run game.
Correct.
So, clearly they can shut down the run game.
Right.
But if Oklahoma's able to get it going like they did last year, what happens now, adjustments you have to make. That's the only way. If you force Oklahoma to pass the football, become one dimensional, by that time Texas is up by 30. So yeah, I'm interested to see how they attack this Texas defense because they have so many limited weapons right now, and no one really scares me. And I was actually rewatching the game the other day and looking at like Jalil Farouk and Nick Anderson, Andre Anthony for them, and they're all not going to play. So it's like all these guys who made plays last year, they're not playing.
Right.
Every single guy who's on that – check this. Every single guy who's on the field during that last drive.
Yep. I saw that stat.
Bro.
Go ahead and finish it.
Every single guy who's on the field in that last drive isn't playing in this game.
Yeah.
Every single player. Even the offensive lineman. So, like – who's going to score for OU? That's the biggest question for me. And I can't wait to find that out on Saturday because, like you said, last decade, you got to score at least 30.
Yeah, that's right.
It's his second start. He's going to do what a freshman would do. He's going to take off and run. I told everyone how he did those 14 rushes against Auburn. He did drop that 60-yard bomb to J.J. Hester. I can't tell you about Hester, though. So – I just to keep everyone interested who's listening, he's got big playability. So I'm just saying, don't fall asleep because he can 60 yards, not bad. He can sling it, and if he can get his feet set, we have something there. That's about the best I could give you on my Hawkins. Like Michael Hawkins.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, to me, if I'm able to recognize the deficiencies with this Oklahoma offense, you're telling me Coach PK and the defensive coordinator at Texas can't do that as well? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, if I'm PK, you make sure the deep ball doesn't happen.
Yep.
You have a blanket coverage in the back, maybe a cover 4, and you keep a spy so he doesn't run out the pocket. And then you hope that your front 7 can stop the run themselves and you don't have to bring extra people in the box.
Is he Jalen Milroe from last year?
I mean, he's a worse Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
And we're talking like early Jalen. We're talking about week 2 Jalen Milroe against Bama. I would take that Jalen Milroe over this kid right now because Jalen was just more dynamic with his legs than Hawkins is. And he's a little bit smaller. Jalen had more experience.
Yeah.
Look, man, anything can happen in this game. Think about last year, Quinn threw 2 picks first 2 drives. So, like, literally anything could happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game at halftime. But then, second half, adjustments get made. I don't know.
I'm just looking at the quarterbacks that Texas has already played, and I think Hawkins is the most athletic out of all of them.
No, they are.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He definitely is.
So that's the point where I'm just trying to keep people interested on his athleticism and the potential. But I won't say he's Jalen Milroe level, but he's an athletic guy.
And Texas got a little taste of that with Mississippi State, so they were able to contain that kid a little bit. And he was known to use his legs. And so they, like I said, they got a little taste of what a running quarterback is like. I would be worried if they haven't faced someone like that yet. Then it's like, okay, they have no experience against a running quarterback. But since they already kind of got a taste in their first game in the SEC, I think that bodes well for Texas. Even though I agree, Hawkins isn't nearly Hawkins is way more than that Mississippi State quarterback is athletically. Like, he's a lot more better. So, yeah, I mean, I'm interested. Like, his legs are going to play a factor.
They're going to play,
It's going to play a factor. I'm not discrediting that. But I'm just saying, like, if you force them to be in 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 7s, where does Oklahoma go?
Yeah.
You can't run the ball from there. So just keep a spy and just make sure he doesn't get out the pocket. Contain him.
Well, that quarterback you mentioned from Mississippi State, 12 rushes, and he ended up with negative 14 yards. That's a good effort if there's 12 rushes, but those are horrible results.
Yeah. I mean, the Texas defense, we talk a lot about Oklahoma's defense.
Yeah.
Right.
Texas defense is better.
I mean,
If we're being honest.
That's right.
Statistically and just with the eye test. Like, the defense is better for Texas. So
OU's getting the talk because they were so bad on defense the previous couple of years. And so they have made huge strides. And Venables deserves credit for making huge strides. But you're correct. The story in this game of just comparing the units is Texas has been a better defense over the past several years and is still a better defense, and comes in with a better offense as well. It would take something like happened. It would take more than what happened last year. Dylan Gabriel was a capable quarterback last year. The turnovers early in the game gave OU the momentum, and they had enough playmakers on the field throughout that game to sustain it. This OU team is depleted with a quarterback who I'm doubting he has the ability in him as a true freshman to give a Dylan Gabriel type game.
And the last thing I'll say about this game, because I feel like I'm being a dead horse.
Yeah, right.
If you look at the stats, if you look at the paper, like on paper, Texas is supposed to win this game. But I think the difference between last year and this year is that Oklahoma had motivation last year. They just got to beat their butts demolished the year before, 49-0.
Yeah.
And so they went into last year's game like, man, we got embarrassed
Okay.
last time we played Texas. And so to me, like, that was the biggest factor as well, is like the motivation behind the game. This year, Texas has that motivation. So not only do they have the better team, they also have the motivation as well after losing last second to a team they weren't supposed to lose to last year. So if Oklahoma had the emotional factor, I would have, okay, they got a shot, but they don't even have the emotional factor in this game. Texas does.
Right.
So I just don't see a world, and if it does happen on Saturday where Oklahoma upsets Texas, I can't wait to find out how that happens. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
And hopefully that doesn't involve injuries.
Right.
Hoping no one gets injured. And I have last year, Jake Majors got hurt in the second drive.
That's right.
Center for Texas.
That's right.
Big time loss. And also going into that game, Jatavian Sanders
Yep.
was hurt.
He was.
And so he didn't even finish the game. But we're done here. Now, OU has a 14-point spread? 14 and a half?
14 and a half.
Yeah.
So there's one other game, Ole Miss LSU.
Oh, yeah.
Number 9 versus number 13 LSU. We already talked to Ohio State, Oregon.
Yep.
So this is another top 25 clash. You guys impressed with I don't know how Ole Miss lost, but
that D-line.
Who do you guys have on this one? LSU or Ole Miss? Curious where y'all would go.
This game doesn't really intrigue me
And it's
as
at,
it would have
it's at
3
Death
weeks
Valley.
ago.
It's at Death Valley?
Yes, sir.
I got LSU winning. I watched the Ole Miss Kentucky game.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that what's his name? Walker, right? Deion Walker, D lineman on Kentucky, NFL prospect.
Oh.
He played his butt off.
Oh,
Okay.
you solid?
He was solid. And Jackson Dart kind of kept throwing some like deep routes when he really didn't need to on like 3rd and 4s. Like it was like, okay, I get it. You trying to get your stats up, bro.
Yeah, but
like,
just get to the sticks.
Just get to the sticks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, Douglas, I don't know. Like this, you say this matchup, and it's not in the same breath as a Oregon, Ohio State, or Texas OU to me. Like I said, 3 weeks ago, this would have been a cool matchup.
Yeah.
But now after I've seen what LSU is, they also have a lot of injuries. Ole Miss just got beat. And I've seen that coming. Lane Kiffin, he can't win anything. So now it's like, this is a cool matchup, I guess. Low key, like Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky's a team.
Yes, they are.
I mean, Kentucky's a team. Like they took Georgia to the wire, beat Ole Miss. Texas has to play them.
That early season loss to South Carolina
Yeah.
is going to really come back and bite them in the rear
so
end.
lopsided.
But was it? What was the final
31-6.
score? Oh my God.
I know. Like, what happened? You're curious.
Illinois
goodness.
Sellers, man.
Like
Yeah, sell it.
like behind Texas, Oklahoma, and I realize nobody in the SEC would agree with this. Everyone in the SEC would say behind Texas, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, LSU is the next best matchup. No, Vanderbilt, Kentucky is the next best matchup.
I mean, I want to find out about these two
That's
teams.
tomorrow.
I do too.
Yeah, it's like, well, who are they?
Right.
Or is Kentucky legit, like a squad in the SEC? And is Vanderbilt a legit squad? I mean,
Yeah.
these are questions that now can get answered. I feel Vanderbilt took somebody to the wire in week 1 or week 2 in overtime, I think.
3-2.
And so, like, that was another matchup early in the year. I'm like, okay, Vanderbilt. Like, I forgot who they faced early in the year.
Virginia Tech.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was in overtime.
And
Yeah.
guess,
talked about
and
that,
guess
I
who
thought.
Virginia Tech took to the wire? Miami.
Miami.
Like, it's
Cam
like
Ward.
that Vanderbilt I remember watching the game thinking they're not supposed to be playing with Virginia Tech right now.
I mean, they lose in overtime to Virginia Tech, then lose that game to Georgia State, Georgia State, we're kind of getting used to them upsetting people nowadays. But then the week after, they go to overtime again with Missouri and lose that game in overtime. You know, they're a break or two away with that upset of Alabama of having a completely different look to their record. And talking about them as they host Texas later this year. So
I mean, it's a good squad, and so yeah, I agree with you. Vanderbilt and Kentucky, that's going to be an interesting matchup. But to go back to Douglas's point, I mean, I'm going LSU for sure.
Okay.
In Death Valley, well, I don't know. It does seem like a get right game for Ole Miss. You know, after getting embarrassed.
Well,
But it's
no,
Death
remember
Valley, man.
they lost to Kentucky, but then they the next week they beat South Carolina.
That was South Carolina without Lenoir. Was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
That Lenoir
Is,
he was just coming back from an injury.
What are you talking about? You talking about Ole Miss?
Yeah, Ole Miss.
So they played
they're
South
not-
Carolina last week?
Yes.
Oh,
they're not
okay.
coming
Yeah, I'm taking
off a
LSU.
loss.
I'm taking LSU.
Okay.
They're coming off a win.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
they lost last
Like
week.
27-6.
I thought the kid faked the injury.
That
The
was
running back?
that was Kentucky. That was when they played Kentucky. That was like 2 weeks.
That
ago,
was
I
2
think.
weeks ago.
I think that was 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, that was well. It was an intense weekend. There was a
days have
lot
gone
of
by
upsets
so
last
fast.
Time
week.
flies when you're having fun.
I'm just gonna tell you, Vanderbilt. Those Atlanta streets are undefeated. I'm just saying. I'm just
say
saying.
less.
That's why they lost to Georgia State. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
they are undefeated.
Yeah.
we're talking about this Vanderbilt Kentucky matchup.
Yeah.
Which legitimately, if what we're seeing is
Real.
showing us who they are,
Yeah.
then this is a pivotal matchup. Both of these teams have Texas remaining on their schedule. And if they want to make waves as being in the, say, the top 5, top 6 teams in the SEC, it's a big game for both of them.
And it puts them 2 games away from being bowl eligible, Vanderbilt, if they get this win.
Right.
Because anybody's going to want their stock went up.
Yes.
These bowls are going to want a Vanderbilt team or Kentucky if a lot's riding on this for Vanderbilt.
And when have you ever seen 2 teams match up the week after pulling off monumental upsets in their program's
Facts.
history?
Yes.
When has that ever happened?
Yeah.
I mean, all right, so we've got a caller on the line. We need to jump into it real quick. Hey, caller, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, hey, Pflugerville man, how you doing?
Hey, how do I sound? I heard a little clicky clack.
No, you sound fine to us.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, of course. I've been waiting, and everybody's been waiting on this game to be back the second Saturday in October. Texas and OU.
Mm-hmm.
Over 100 years this game's been played. And this is a game that messes up Las Vegas, man. They don't know how to pick it off. Just because you have the best record, that don't mean nothing. OU's had the best record, and we beat them, and vice versa. Now, tickets, if you can find them, good luck. I was just messing around with this man the other night, man. He had some 50-yard line seats. Coming out, give you 6 of them for $1,000 a piece. I said, no, I can find something cheaper than that.
Hey, Mr. Oklahoma, Pflugerville man, real quick, I wanted to ask you a question. You got any relatives in the Houston area?
Hello?
Yes. You got any relatives in the Houston area?
Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Mr. Oklahoma, you got me? Pflugerville man, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, you got me?
Oh,
You hear me?
it must be on his end. He said he was hearing some clicks.
Yeah, he
So-
did.
You may be having issues with your
It's a lot of
phone.
static, man.
Yeah, you must be having issues with your phone on your end. So,
Like a record player with a bad needle.
but there is a Jaquazi Petaway that's a slot receiver for Oklahoma. Is that your kinfolk? I don't think you can hear me.
Ah, that would have been nice to know. I'm a little curious there. We lost.
It's all good.
Yeah. I tell you what, disconnect him, and if he wants to call back, he can call right back in. Hopefully his boss isn't watching him.
Here's what I want to know. This is the week that the Oklahoma fans are supposed to stand up. Can you please call in? But this is a matter of state pride. Now I know we streaming all
They
over the
know,
world,
bro. They
Texas
know.
and
They
Oklahoma
know.
state pride. is on the line.
They know.
If you are an Oklahoma fan, don't leave Mr. Y'all saw I had to side with him out of pity. And I'm not even from Texas or Oklahoma. Somebody get us. Come on, man. I need an Oklahoma fan to call in.
For what?
512-836-2887. Because they're going to say it with their chest. Corey Mose from KVU. They're going to say, you better wear some Boomer red next time because we going to get this win. Something.
No, but they need to. There's nothing to explain, or there's no reasoning behind it. That would just be illogical for them to come
But
on
it's
this air.
no. But aren't we, Travis? You gave
No
us
bad.
all that history. I'm not from here, and I know this rivalry very well. Like it's intense, and we can't keep telling everybody how intense it is if they don't want to call in. They don't want to rep.
Okay. Pflugerville man, we got you again.
All right, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you sound
we hear
you
you.
sound better. You sound fine to us. How do we sound?
Oh man, this is a big time game. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, about the record, Texas and OU. It doesn't really matter, in a way. OU beat us and we beat them with some good records. Don't mean nothing. Tickets, if you don't have one, it might be hard to find one now. I was messing around with this dude the other night, man. He had some 50-yard line tickets. He said, I'll sell you 7 of them for $1,000 a piece. I said, no, that's a little bit beyond my budget, man. But I found some for $250 though. That's pretty good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Man, you could have crowdsourced one of those tickets for $1,000.
Face value is $200 now.
Really?
Wow.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
It's not a
So.
bad price.
Yeah.
200.
I'll tell you what I sold mine for later.
Oh, fair.
Hey, I got a question about this. Fluger man, you got anything else?
Yeah, right quick.
Yeah.
I want to share our game meal we're going to have tomorrow with the rest of the fans view. So we always saved our money, so we're going to get brisket, get about $100 worth of brisket, turkey about $50, ribs, they love ribs, and they got a lot of bones, get about another $100 worth of that. Some hot gut was really sausage, potato salad, beans, they love cornbread with their beans, 2 cases of Coke, 2 cases of Sprite. And then what I'm saying, that ain't it. I ain't going to leave the game, so don't ask me to do nothing.
Where are they tailgating at? That's
Man,
what I was
that-
going to say.
That sounds like a good time right there.
Yeah.
$100 for the brisket.
All right, hook 'em. I'm heading on out.
All right, Pflugerville man, we appreciate
I'm
it.
glad he did that because that was my
Okay,
question.
bye-bye.
I wanted to know, Travis, tell me about the tailgates that go on at this thing because I've never gone. But why do I want to go inside the stadium?
Oh, okay, so there's 2 ways to do the state fair, and I will tell you the way I do it.
Yeah.
Is I go in, and so I go in.
So now
I get
you
my-
don't get distracted.
I get my Fletcher's corny dog. Actually, I get 2 of them.
Oh, hey,
Uh,
double fist.
Sometimes I go back for a third,
Hey, I ain't judging.
and that's breakfast. with what we call the wax cup beer,
Yeah.
because all the drinks at the state fair are in these old style wax cups. The kind you they gave you at football practice. Remember that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so, and then the Texas X's will have a area set up where they'll have a tailgate party. They'll usually have a band or a guitar player there playing some music, and or you can go through the car show. You can go through some of the exhibits. This is rare because it's been an 11 a.m. kick for so long. Texas and Oklahoma as institutions have always pushed the networks to make it 11 a.m. kick.
Right.
The longer you let us sit around and drink,
Hey.
the more time we have to create havoc inside the state fair.
Hey.
And so this is the first time it's been a 2:30 kick in a long time, and so it gives you a little extra time to get there. But outside, though, there are a good number of tailgate parties, and there's some pretty decent ones. There's some smokers out there. There's some guys out there with big pits throwing some barbecue on or some cooking some meat. I've got a buddy of mine who he and his brothers used to tailgate at Texas. They never went to the game, but they loved the atmosphere, and they would just come out there and tailgate.
And
then-
that's where I'm at.
And then set up a TV and watch the game on TV.
Okay,
So,
all right.
yep, there's a lot of that goes on. So we need to get to that break. So we're going to get to a break. AZI 88.7, Travis Kent, Jamal January, Douglas Washington, KVU 24's Corey Mose, and a caller on the line. So we will jump into the phones. Caller, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, say, I got a question.
Okay.
Why do we even care about the history and the rivalry of this game when if you look at all these years ago, they didn't even want us at the. You know what I'm saying? So why do we as black people care about these things? I don't understand that. You want to look at UT? Shit. UT still got, not civil rights, Civil War monument located at their school that they celebrating as heroes that condone slavery. So why do we even care about the rivalry of this school? Why are we even talking about this rivalry?
So do you not watch any college football?
Yeah. So that just.
HBCU, baby.
Okay. Cool. Hey, if we had enough listeners, that's all we would talk about. But all of our listeners, you've heard the calls coming in. They all want to talk about Texas OU. They want to talk about
And
Dallas.
the calls coming in is all people that's celebrating this stuff. And I'm like, why? For what? They never wanted us. But now it's all good as long as we play sports for them and entertain them. I mean, it don't make sense to me.
So
that's just like
you get
they
into
did away. Hold up, that's just like they did away with affirmative action at schools now. So now they really don't have to let us in, regardless of what our academics is.
Okay, so culturally, let me get in there right quick, Travis. Let me talk to you, brother. These are opportunities. It's the path to opportunities. You can't talk about what it always used to be because we're not in those days. We talk about the opportunities that's ahead of us right now. So these organizations, one of the highest paid college athletes right now is a brother over in Colorado. That's Shedeur Sanders. So it's a path to opportunity.
Yeah.
We are celebrating the fact that a lot of young brothers are getting the chance to go to college, a pathway to educational and economic opportunity. So you can't hate on what those opportunities are. The second thing is representation. It matters. So we're going to always have lily white institutions unless there's something that draws these young men and women. Over at Colorado, University of Colorado, all the black students are now wanting to go to University of Colorado because University of Colorado shows how diverse they are by going to get a black coach. They could have went and got another white coach, man. But they said, I'm gonna give Coach Prime. Now he don't fit over there. Have you ever looked at the demographics over there where he's at? The demographics are horrible. One last thing. And now let's just talk about cultural significance. Football is deeply ingrained in the black culture. You know that. If you ain't on the block and you can't throw that pigskin, you better have a wicked jump shot or you slinging crack rock. You know that's the difference. So in the hood, for people that want the opportunity to come up out, this is their opportunity. Brother, I waited for you. You got to wait for me. So you asked what the difference is. I gave you 3 pillars of why it is formidable for black culture. That's what you asked.
So tell me this. Why is it we as black people don't support each other and support our own stuff as much as we support these others?
Okay,
so actually, I'm gonna step in and say there's plenty of shows here at KAZI where we talk about these issues. This is a sports show. I've only got 2 hours a week. I'm gonna talk sports. We appreciate your call. All right, so back to sports.
Yeah, I am so shocked about the opportunities for this upcoming week. We talked about Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
On the way in.
Yes.
I just need to ask you guys. I asked y'all off air. I'm gonna ask you on air. Sorry if I'm gonna ask you to repeat yourself again. Why would Devontae Adams say, I only want to go to 2 places? You're limiting yourself. So can y'all explain to me, give me a positive, please.
Yeah.
I want to corner you and say, what's the positive to go to the Jets or the Saints? What's the positive? Because I don't get it.
For Devontae Adams, he's not from his agent cannot like the comments he's made, right?
No.
Because he's limiting what's probably going to be offered for him or the teams that will even call to inquire about him. On the flip side, though, look, if I take it from what he said to the sentiment of what he said he wants to play with quarterbacks that he's played for before and he knows. Is that the smartest way to go about it? I don't know. He was obviously he obviously built a good relationship with Aaron. He built a good relationship with Derek, and he wants to go play with them. That's fine as a sentiment. But in the game of the NFL, in the game of your next contract, and it's weird. I don't know why he would do that, but I mean, he's kind of painting himself into a corner. If he, because right now, I don't know if either one of those teams are going anywhere. The Saints got off to a good start this year, but I think they're about to crash down to reality.
Yeah, Derek Carr being hurt plays a big factor, so I bet that takes his name out of that hat. But I mean, look, I think the Jets are one game out of the AFC East title, so I mean they're not out of it. Now I would say the other team to look out for is the other team in the AFC East is Buffalo.
Yes,
I think Buffalo is interested in getting Devontae. I think they're a sleeper pick.
Yeah.
Now, does Devontae want to go to Buffalo? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I see why he wants to go to the Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes total sense to me. Like, you got Aaron Rodgers. You got a team that he thinks he's a final piece to get them over the hump. And then, you get to play opposite of another star caliber wide receiver who he hasn't been able to do, which he hasn't been able to do for the past 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Even back to his Green Bay days. Who was the wide receiver 2? Was it Alan Lazard? Back then?
Yeah.
Who was his 2 over there in Green Bay? And then all the years in Las Vegas, they hadn't really had a legit star potential like he would have in Garrett Wilson to take the coverage away from him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, I think Jets make sense for sure, but I also think Buffalo's in the competition that no one's really talking about.
That's right.
Yeah.
We got another caller, so we're going to jump back into the calls. Hey, caller, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, what's happening in West Texas? How y'all doing, man?
Hey, West Texas, how you doing, man?
Said, what's up?
Hey, listen though. He was telling me that y'all wasn't gonna take no more calls about the game and all that. So I'm just gonna run this by you real quick.
Okay. Right.
I played for the City League in Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
For quite a while. I played for middle school. I played for high school. I did a little bit of semi-pro back in '85.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became one of the most popular coaches on the east side, y'all, as you know,
right.
for Little League. So I know what a rival is. It ain't even about black or white or money or none of that.
Yeah.
It's about going to go get that team that got you every time.
Yeah.
And then it could be schools or anything like that. But if you don't know nothing about football, then you don't know nothing about rivals. But anyway, I want to tell y'all something about Texas. Why do I got to get in ESPN to watch Texas?
Okay, back to your programming conversation then, Travis.
Why do you have to get ESPN?
Yeah.
Hey,
they used to come on Fox like everybody else.
Oh.
Man, the ESPN was
we're in the SEC now.
Yeah, we're in the SEC now.
Yeah.
Fox doesn't have a contract with the SEC.
Nope.
ABC,
No,
ESPN.
so I never. Okay, but I watched it on regular TV.
Yeah, you could,
ABC.
yeah.
You can watch it on ABC.
Yeah. Yeah, this game.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
It's ESPN or the stadium.
Yeah. Well, so this week, so ABC has 3 time slots on over the air ABC station, right? And so 11 a.m., 2:30 p.m., 7 p.m. And this is the 2:30 national game. So Kirk Herbstreit, Chris Fowler, the game day crew will just head into the stadium, and they'll be doing this game live on ABC.
Game day won't be there, but
Okay.
Where's game day at?
Oregon.
They can. Oh, that's a nice
They're not going to do this game on no TV.
Because Kirk's calling the game.
Damn, that's crazy. Well, I guess because it's West Coast time now, so you would think they'll be behind over there. Dang.
Sorry.
Okay, they call it is the OU game on TV?
Yes, it's on TV.
It's on ABC.
It's on ABC.
It's on ABC.
Channel.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch on KView.
And I went and got ESPN.
You ain't got. Well,
Yeah,
it's an investment for the future. Just
That's
think of it
right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Herbstreit did announce earlier this week that he's leaving early because he's going to be on the call. So it's going to be a limited panel. Hey,
You know what? I don't know what I'm thinking in my head, but I don't understand nothing you guys are saying.
Okay.
Why?
Well, hey, it's
Everything wrong with me?
No.
just hey.
No.
So call in every Friday. Ask us what channel it's on. We'll tell you what channel it's on. All right.
Give you the number and everything.
We got you.
All right, West Texas. We appreciate.
Rivals been happening for years, man. Come on, like, you gotta know football, no rivals, man. You know, I love the game, man. Let's go to war, Texas. Let's get them, baby.
Let's go. All right, West Texas. We appreciate it. Thanks for the call. All right, so we want to get back to
Devontae?
So Devontae, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that familiarity with Aaron Rodgers seems like he's trying to pitch, and maybe Devontae, maybe that's all he cares about. You know,
Oh, he does have good money.
that's, you know, sometimes we put too much on these guys to think, oh, don't they want to be a contender? Don't they want to?
No.
Man, some guys just.
He does have a Taco Bell in his own house.
He does have a
No?
Taco
Oh,
Bell.
that commercial.
Great commercials.
That's why he
Great commercials.
Okay, so then, guys, I'll run through it quick.
Yeah.
Let me just say, if you just let things happen, let the economy come to you. Let the supply and demand come to you. The best top free agents that went places. So and what you could still have is your legacy. Jerry Rice, remember, he left. And where did he go? Went to the Oakland Raiders. Turned out pretty good, right? What about Simeon Rice? Went to Tampa Bay Bucks. You got Bryce Pop went to the Bills. You got Michael Turner went to the Falcons. Ed McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's dad. Sometimes you just gotta.
Joe Montana went to Kansas City.
Yeah, Brett
mean,
Favre went to the Vikings and to the Jets. James Ferrier, Keenan McCardell went to the Jaguars. Priest Holmes went to the Kansas City Chiefs. You got Mike Vrabel.
What are we trying to prove here, though?
That sometimes just let it come to you. Don't
let the market
limit.
happen.
Yeah, don't limit your opportunities.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, he already made the move. Though.
Yeah.
Like, what you're describing, he already did. Like, we're past that phase.
Yeah.
Like, he already left Green Bay. He already made a name for himself. The whole reason why he left Green Bay was to prove that he didn't need a Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did.
That's right.
Now I'm gonna run back. To
Yeah,
Aaron
I mean,
Rodgers.
now he's gonna run back. But it's like y'all said, I ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Without Rodgers, and then okay, bet. Let me go to Las Vegas and play with Derek Carr. Let me play with Aiden O'Connell. Let me play with Gardner Minshew. Let me play with Jimmy Garoppolo and have 1,000 yards receiving and prove to you that I'm still a top 5 receiver in the world and I'm arguably the best route runner in the league right now. Okay, check. Now let me go get my quarterback back. I mean, that's kind of what he's in right now.
Yeah.
That's the situation that he's in. That he realizes, man, I proved what I need to prove in Las Vegas. Get me out of here. I want to win again. And I think that's what he wants. I think he already got the bag. He don't need the money. He just wants to win. And you're not winning in Vegas. I mean,
Yeah.
we can tell that. So I think that's what he wants to prove now. Can he win a Super Bowl? Another one. What was he on that team when the Packers won it? Do you know?
I
don't
don't think so.
I don't
I think
think he
that,
does.
yeah.
So I don't think he has a ring. So I mean, that would be the last thing to check off.
That's why you got to lead. So Shannon Sharp, he left that Denver Broncos team, and then he went to the Ravens, won another ring. That's what you got to do.
All right, so let's roll for it because we started talking about this Devontae Adams deal before the season started. So we're not there yet. He hadn't moved yet. But what did happen this week is Robert Saleh got fired by the Jets following Aaron Rodgers playing a game where he made 2 high school throws for picks and gets another coach fired by his poor play.
Yeah.
Because he
Pick
did
six by
he did the same thing to Mike McCarthy at Green Bay, which now if I had a few shekels and was out in Vegas, I don't know what the under over is on the throwing yardage for,
I bet Corey knows.
but
Nah, I don't know. I don't know prop bets.
but I would be betting the over on Aaron Rodgers this week because somehow when a coach gets fired that a team he plays on, somehow he just gets better the rest of the year. I mean, it's just like it's magic, right? Because clearly it was the coach's fault. I mean, it couldn't be that Aaron just wanted him fired that bad that he would just play bad, right?
Well, look,
that wouldn't happen.
I mean, look. They also changed the guy calling plays, so that could be a factor this weekend too. We're not just gonna sit here and act like that was the only move made with the Jets organization. They took the calling duties away from Nathaniel Hackett, and so that could also play a factor to why he plays better.
It could.
And I'm not, trying to defend Aaron, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm going to take a man for his man's word. If he tells me to my face that he had nothing to do with it, I'm going to believe it until some more reports come out.
Oh,
you know?
you're going to take
So-
the guy's word who said he did get the vaccine, or then he didn't actually get the vaccine? That's the guy's word you're going to take?
That's political. I thought it was a sports show. I thought we're doing a sports show right now. But like, I mean, look, something had to change.
Look,
Something had to change, and Salah was going to make a change.
the fact is that this is ownership's mess,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Ownership
It's not Aaron
decided to go get Aaron Rodgers to then tell their coaching staff and tell their staff, Aaron has already given us a list of people he wants us to go get them. Aaron Rodgers is general managing this team, and he's general managing it right into the ground, just like we all knew he would. And ownership has got to take Robert Saleh. Congratulations for not being there anymore. You're going to land somewhere, and you'll be just fine.
For the next 2 years, he's going to still get paid out
Exactly.
$5 to $7 million, and so he's not hurting.
Exactly.
Totally fine. But you know, and I would argue to your point, Travis. I mean, you can't blame Aaron for using the power that he was given. You know,
No. It's clearly the problem that he was given the power.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna fly a PJ out to Cali to recruit me to come to the Jets, that's when I knew that I had all the power in my hands.
Yeah.
If you took your funds to fly a private jet to come see me in Cali, like I'm Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I own this organization for sure, and I think that's when the line was set. When this isn't Robert Saleh's team anymore. This is Aaron Rodgers' team if he accepts his offer, because we are just totally bypassing what Robert wants, and we're giving our full attention to Aaron Rodgers, and we're giving us all the resources, anything you want to him. And no matter what you just did, Saleh, this is Aaron Rodgers' team. Now, I would argue also a little bit of blame should be on Joe Douglas, because he put himself in a situation where you went out and got the guys that Aaron Rodgers wants. You're the GM. You could say no. You
Right.
don't have to get Alan Lazard. You know,
Right.
you don't have to go get a Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
But he did anyways. But also, he's also the guy that drafted Zach Wilson number 2.
No,
Put
you're
himself
right.
In
No.
this situation.
Yeah.
So, like, let's really backtrack and
Yes.
see where the blame goes, because there's no reason this roster should be built in a way where you're technically, quote unquote, a quarterback away when you literally are supposed to draft that quarterback 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
That was the reason why you had the number 2 pick, and you got it wrong. You know, and so I feel like if you would have got that pick right, you wouldn't need Aaron Rodgers in the first place.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just blame to go all around. And Aaron Rodgers does deserve some of that blame. But I also don't think that it's all on him. It's on ownership. It's on the GM, Joe Douglas. And it's none of it is on Saleh to me. Well, you do have to lead a team. I think if you're going to be the head coach, you got to know how to lead a team. And he's just not a good – some guys are just good coordinators. And I think Saleh is just a good coordinator.
No, we've addressed this a number of times before, that some people are better suited to be coordinators.
Cliff Kingsbury.
And just Cliff Kingsbury, I think, would be better served by never taking another head coaching job. Now, he probably will at some point because he's young, but he'd probably be better served as just bouncing around to wherever he wants to go. He can go back and forth between college and pro. He can do whatever he wants as an offensive coordinator, and probably make close to. He could probably be a top paid.
He'll probably be the highest paid OC.
Yeah,
exactly.
The Bieniemy contract.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot to that. But yeah, it's created a mess with Jets fans. Did not talk to Keith Braithwaite this week, but I probably need to reach out to Keith
somebody
and
check in on
check
Keith.
in on him, make sure he's doing all
And
right.
God dang it, Jets fans, can we get Hassan Reddick in the building, please? Oh my goodness,
Well,
man.
here's what we learned. Don't make it awkward, bro. You don't try to hug Aaron Rodgers.
Oh gosh,
That's what you learned. Don't hug. Don't touch me. That's basically what it comes down to. That was the beginning of the end. It was awkward.
Bro, sorry, I just got to touch on this Reddick thing
Yeah.
situation. Why? And this is another example of Joe Douglas being an idiot when it comes to the general manager. Why would you trade for a guy that you don't have a contract already lined up for?
Yep.
right.
And now you're in a situation where he's holding out. And guess what you struggle with right now? Rushing the passer. You can't get there. And you know who can help out? Hassan Reddick, the guy you traded for. Pay him his money. But on the flip side of it, how much money would it take for you to lose, Travis Douglas, for you to go to your job? Like,
I don't know.
saw
man.
an article, read it this morning. He's lost $4 million of game checks, and he's also had $8 million of fines since training camp. So you're looking at $12 million worth of money he owes the Jets and the league, and he's only on a $14 million contract. So you owe $12 million, and you only are going to make $14 million. By the way, his agency just left him yesterday or today, within the last 24 hours. So clearly, it's not an agency thing. It's a Reddick thing that he thinks he deserves more money, and he's blaming his agents for not getting that bread. And his agents are like, "We got a good offer on the table, bro.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
accept it and go to work."
Yeah.
I don't understand why athletes have this may be worse than Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah,
Like
no.
a holdout.
Yeah.
It ended Le'Veon Bell's career.
Exactly.
He ended his own career because he thought so much of himself.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, just take the bread. You're making generational wealth either way.
Yeah.
Whether it's 16 million or 18 million. Just get in the building and play football.
That's right.
You know? And so stop losing bread. I hate when people lose bread for no reason.
So
$12
then-
million.
How does Joe Douglas still have a job as a GM then? Because
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
Well, because he's the guy that got Aaron Rodgers. I mean, technically, that's why the Lakers, they love Pelinka. I mean, not Pelinka, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson got LeBron.
Oh, he
technically. I mean, he was the
Yeah.
GM at the time, you know, basketball operates, whatever you want to call his title. But you could never fault Magic because at the end of the day, his calling card is, I got Bron. So what you want, you know? And that's kind of Joe Douglas right now. He's
And
like,
got a
all right.
title.
And low key, like, he has built a good roster. I mean,
Yeah.
and he drafted a guy in Sauce Gardner. You know, that was a good pick. He drafted a
pick.
guy in Quentin Williams. That was a great pick.
Great.
You know, DJ Reed in that back end as well. You know, you have a lot of good picks.
Still haven't made the
sprinkled
playoffs
in.
since 2010.
Hadn't made the playoffs. Now, how much is that coaches though? You know, that you can blame. I mean, before this season started, and I mean before last year started, and you'll be a liar if you say you didn't say this. Everyone said they were a quarterback away. Everybody said that. You have a top 5 defense. Then you have a star in the making in Garrett Wilson. You have a star in the making in Breece Hall in the backfield. They just need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying that.
That's
if
right.
Zach Wilson can play up to what he's projected to play up to. That was the conversation.
100%.
Let's not forget. And so, with that being the case, you got to credit Joe Douglas for building that roster in that way, for them to be a quarterback away, quote unquote. But now they're realizing, oh, that quarterback isn't who we thought.
That's
he was.
right. All right, so let's work our way a little bit around the league in the last 5 minutes that we've got here. Let's start Houston at New England. New England's got a new starting quarterback this week.
Why would they
It's going to
start
make a
him?
huge difference, right?
Why would they start him?
They're literally throwing him in the fire.
Why would they start him?
Like,
Sheesh.
Like, just of all weeks too. Like, just
that's
wait till
what I'm
I think they have somebody weak next week.
That's when they letting you know they don't like you, man.
It just makes no sense. Like, Dan Orlovsky described the Texans defense yesterday as violent and overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's the last defense you want to go for a rookie quarterback. But I'm not Gerard Mayo.
They
So.
gave him a home game to start. The crowd will pump him up.
Just wait, man. Just wait.
The crowd will be behind you, kid. Get out there.
And the offensive line is god awful.
Oh,
You
Yep.
got your Drake
Yep.
made jersey. But anywho, Texans.
Yeah, Texans covered
Yep.
that. I think 6.5.
No
spread.
hesitation.
All right, so an interesting game, and because of the way sort of that the Commanders have played so far,
Yeah.
Washington, they make the long trip to Baltimore.
This is a game of the week.
Beltway Magic.
I got Baltimore.
This is my hometown right
This is the game of the
here.
week right here.
This is a very important game for both these teams right here.
Hey, can I say Lamar Jackson versus Baby Lamar?
No,
Yeah.
you can.
No, you
Def-
can.
You can
Yeah.
say
That's
protege.
why I think Baltimore is going to win because they literally been practicing against Lamar this entire time, and I think you said baby Lamar.
Yeah.
They know how to prep for Jaden Daniels. Watch. I think this is going to be Jaden Daniels'
All the
welcome to
teams in the
NFL.
NFL that have seen and played Lamar can prep for him. I don't mean they
True.
can do it.
But Lamar is on the Ravens.
He's doing historic stuff, though.
Yeah, he is.
Lamar didn't connect with a completion percentage like this guy.
So that's the thing for me is, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. 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 I don't know I didn't check the stats after last week's game or whatever, but he was at one point he was like at 82% completion percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever they're doing to get him efficient throws, and by the way, it's for a pretty good yards per clip. It's not like it's all 3-yard out patterns where a corner is 7 yards off the ball. Something they're doing there is meshing correctly with this young quarterback.
Kingsbury.
And that's
Kingsbury.
I mean, that's just, to me, that's just kind of what it is. And you have to,
Kyler's
you got
best-
to make it easy for a rookie quarterback. And I think what they're doing is they're utilizing the run game to it so effectively that now you can use play action to make it an easier read for the quarterback when now you got to worry about just 3 guys on passing routes, and then you got 8 dudes in the box trying to stop the run. So now you're only reading 4 dudes in the back end, 3 dudes in the back end. So it's a lot of one-on-one, man-on-man type matchups. They're not playing a bunch of cover 2 high safety looks because they got to stack the box. Because mind you, the running back, Brian Robinson's really good.
right. Right. Exactly.
I know we had a conversation about Alabama running backs last week. Like that's another guy that's made a name for himself in the league from Alabama at that position. And with him being so effective, and then you have Eckler being effective, mind you, Jaden can use his legs too. You got to put numbers in the box.
Yeah.
And that just makes it easier in the pass game. So, I mean, with the running game being so effective, you just see what the Ravens are doing. I mean, it's the exact same thing. They have 12-man personnel all the time, 2 tight ends. They're going to run the football, and the next thing you know, he's throwing it over the top.
I'm telling you, they know how to prep for it.
He's tied for second in deep ball passing according to Fantasy Pros with 50-plus yards. And there's the number one guys. There's some people that are tied at 3, but the leader's in the clubhouse at 3, and he's tied for second with 2.
And you never see him throwing in coverage, and that's the difference. Like, if you see the throw that Jordan Love made to Jaden Reed last week, I don't know if y'all seen that, but Jaden Reed was in triple coverage.
Yep.
And mind you, he still caught it, but he was in triple coverage.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence had the exact same throw. That got picked off into triple coverage. But all the Jaden's deep balls, look at him. With Terry McLaurin, there's one guy guarding Terry because they're on man-to-man. Because they have to stack the box. And so if I'm just going to trust my guy and Terry to go up and get it, he's going to do it.
He's a rookie.
All right.
Think about how many blitz packages have been sent
yeah.
his way.
All right, so we've got Texas at 2:30 tomorrow against Oklahoma. We have the Texans play the noon game. The Cowboys play the afternoon game against Detroit. We are on day 7 of 55 straight days of football on TV. West Texas, man, why did you get ESPN? Because a lot of those games during the week are on ESPN. So if you want football, this is the time to watch football. Now, some of the games, yeah, I got to admit, I didn't even want to tune in for. So
Some action? You don't want no action?
no, I am not getting my